friends. We are going to read the book And Tango Makes Three. This book is by Justen, Richardson, and Peter Parnell. It is illustrated by Henry Cole. Take a look at the family on the cover of this book. Do you see a penguin family? Let's find out how this family came to be. And Tango Makes Three. Here's a picture of a zoo in New York City called the Central Park Zoo. It's a very famous zoo. It's where our story takes place. In the middle of New York City, there is a great big park called Central Park. Children love to play there. It has a toy boat pond where they can sail their boats. It has a carousel to ride on in the summer and an ice rink to skate on in the winter. Oh my goodness, it's hard to show you these pictures. Okay, did you see those? Best of all, it has its very own zoo. Every day, families of all kinds go to visit the animals that live there. But children and their parents aren't the only families at the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda bear families with mothers and fathers and furry red panda bear cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey moms raising noisy monkey babies. There are toad families and toucan families and cotton-top tamarin families too. There's the red pandas. There's those toucans and tamarins. And in the penguin house, there are penguin families. Every year, at the very same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girls. The right girl and the right boy find each other, and they become a couple. Two penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy, and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. Oh, I see. So a lot of the other penguins was a girl and a boy doing everything together. But Roy and Silo are both boys, and they do everything together. They bowed to each other and walked together. They sang to each other and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other. Their keeper, Mr. Gramsci, noticed the two penguins and thought to himself, they must be in love. Mr. Gramsci knows a lot about penguins, and he knows how to tell if two penguins are in love. Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home. So they built a nest of stones for themselves. Every night, Roy and Silo slept there together, just like the other penguin couples. Here they are making their nest. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw that the other couples could do something they could not. The mama penguin would lay an egg. She and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch, and then there would be a baby penguin. So do you see there's Roy and Silo, and they're looking and noticing all these other penguin couples are starting to have baby penguins. Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on and keep warm. They had no baby chick to feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like what the other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. It was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat on it and sat. And sat. When Silo got sleepy, he slept. And when Silo was done sleeping and sitting, he swam and Roy sat. Day after day, Silo and Roy sat on the rock. But nothing happened. Then Mr. Gramsay got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. There he is watching them through his special window and thinking, and there he is putting this egg in the nest. That's a real egg. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of their nest. Every day they turned it so each side stayed warm. Some days Roy sat while Silo went for food. Other days it was Silo's turn to take care of their egg. They're working together. They sat in the morning and they sat at night. They sat through lunchtime and swim time and supper. They sat at the beginning of the month and they sat at the end of the month, and they sat all of the days in between. Until one day they heard a sound coming from inside their egg. Peep, 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 it said. Roy and Silo called back, squawk, squawk. Peep, peep, answered the egg. See the egg going peep. Suddenly, a tiny hole appeared in the egg's shell. And then, do you see what's happening? It starts over here. There's starting to be a tiny hole. Do you see what's happening over time? Oh my goodness. Crack! Out came their very own baby. She had fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Now Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, Mr. Gramsay decided, because it takes two to make a tango. Isn't she cute? Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry. They fed her food from their beaks. They snuggled her in their nest at night. Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. Soon Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest. Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango! They cheered. Oh, there's everyone looking. And check out Roy and Silo and Tango. There they are. They're almost the same size. Tango grew so much, she's almost as big as her daddy's. At night, the three penguins returned to their nest. There they snuggled together, and like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and all the families in the big city around them, they went to sleep. It's always a nice way to end a story. There's a little bit more in this book. There's an author's note. And that's when the author wants us to know just a little bit more. And here's what the author is telling us. All of the events in this story are true. Roy and Silo are called chinstrap penguins because of the delicate line of black feathers that loops under their beaks, as if to hold a hat in place. Let's just take a quick look. You see the little strap under the chin? That's why they're called chinstrap penguins. After years of living side by side in the Central Park Zoo, they discovered each other in 1998, and they have been a couple ever since. Tango, their only chick, was born from an egg laid by another penguin couple named Betty and Porky. That couple had often hatched their own eggs, but they had never been able to care for more than one at a time. In 2000, when Betty laid 2 fertile eggs, Rob Gramsey decided to give Roy, Silo, and one of those eggs a chance to become a family. If you go to the Central Park Zoo, you can see Tango and her parents splashing about in the penguin house along with their friends, including Nipper, Squawk, Charlie, Wasabi, and Pee-wee. There are 42 chinstrap penguins in the Central Park Zoo and over 10 million chinstraps in the world, but there is only one, Tango. I sure did enjoy reading this book with you. Thank you, friends. Goodbye.